Hi there, welcome to the channel. I'm Angela and today I have a pattern review to share with you. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned. Hey you guys, thanks so much for stopping in today. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my latest make, which is this hoodie top that I'm wearing, along with a pattern review. It's Simplicity 8790. It is Mrs. Knit Dresses and Tunics. There are several different variations, as you can see. I did view B, which is kind of the shorter length hoodie. And just to show you the line drawings, you can see some of the variations there. It's mostly variations in length, and then there's a couple of sleeve options. You can either do sort of a dropped shoulder sleeve, which I did here, or I think that's a raglan sleeve, the couple at the bottom. So a little bit of a background about what made me choose this particular top with this fabric, and then we'll jump into the pattern review. So I recently, the finish before this was a pair of Style Arc Parker pants. They're a jogger style pant made out of, I used a French terry, and I thought that this fabric with the little pinkish flowers goes so nicely with those. I'll put a picture of the pants here, and I'll link to that video below in case you missed that and you're interested. But the fabrics went together so nicely. And given that this is such like a loungy little comfort type top that I think of, I thought that it would go perfect with the loungy, comfy pants that the Parkers are for me. So when all is said and done, I'd have this cozy little outfit to wear. And that is, in fact, how it ended up. So that's the background on how this top came to be. Let's jump into the pattern review. So as I mentioned, this is a Simplicity pattern 8790. It was published in 2019. And from what I can see online on the simplicity.com, it is still in print, but it said that they were out of stock. So I'm assuming that that means it might still be in print, or you could get it at Joann's or something like that, or maybe Hobby Lobby. But at least on simplicity.com, it didn't look like you could order it from there because it was out of stock. And size range, it goes from extra small to extra large. And what that means is for bust, it is, let's see, yeah, body measurements. So that goes from 30.5-inch bust up to 46-inch bust. And for centimeters, it looks like it is 78 centimeters to 117 centimeters. So I cut the large at the top, the shoulder and bust area, grading to an extra large down through the hips. And it fits pretty well. It is a little roomy back here, but since it is just intended to be a lounge around kind of shirt, I'm fine with that. And as for fabrics, the suggested fabrics, it's sized for stretch knits only: jersey, novelty knit, stretch velvet, lightweight sweater knit. Yeah, and then there's a pick a knit rule, which is the stretch meter here at the top. You guys have probably seen that before on patterns. Since I just went with a jersey, I didn't even, I usually, if I stick with whatever fabric they suggest, like one of the suggested fabrics, I usually just ignore this here. Or if I get a good feel, like by the type of garment and how much stretch it should like theoretically have, I just kind of gauge it. I very rarely use that guide. Maybe I should be. But anyway, since jersey was one of the suggested fabrics, I was fine using this rayon spandex jersey for this top. If I haven't mentioned it, I did get this from Joann's a while back. I think I got this back in 2020, and it was probably part of my COVID buying spree when we were all sheltering in place and feeling a little bit cabin feverish, and I kind of went nuts ordering fabric that year. This is one of those, I'm pretty sure. So it's nice to kind of use that. That is one of my goals for this year, to use up some of my older fabrics, like go ahead and get those sewn up first, or at least regularly throughout the year, so they're not kind of lingering around, and keep some movement in my pattern stash. And as far as instructions, this was very, very easy to sew. The hood was easy. There was nothing complicated about it. A couple of things as far as adjustments that I made or changes that I made. So I mentioned the adjustments, the sizing gradation that I did. And the only other thing that I did as far as changing, I didn't have enough fabric to cut the hood out as per the pattern instructions. So you're supposed to cut the hood piece out so that there's a center back seam. And in the front, you cut this little piece in the front on the fold. I couldn't cut it on the fold, so I just did it in two pieces and seamed it in the center front. And that's one of the things that like I would change next time if I make this, is that I would definitely have enough fabric, like prepare in advance to have enough fabric to cut this on the fold, because when this, I have my microphone kind of attached there now, but when it's kind of loose and just laying there, you can see that center seam and it kind of bugs me. But actually, I think I would go one step further and line the hood so that you don't even see the back side of the fabric and it's all just like the face of the fabric. I think that would look a little bit better. It's not a big deal for me because I'm mostly going to be wearing this around the house, especially on these colder days. But knowing that, next time I make it, I'll try to make sure I do that, line the hood. And if I'm lining the hood, it really wouldn't matter as much if there's a center seam, especially with the fabric that's this busy. That seam kind of hides, but it really shows up on the back side of the fabric, which is just this grayish color. You can see that seam like plain as day. Not a big deal for my purpose for this top, just to be a loungy top, but something that I would change next time. And I did actually, thinking about it, make one more change to the pattern. I added on 2 inches to the length, the back and front. So you can see about where it falls on the model. I wanted it to be a little bit longer, so I added 2 inches to the length. And thinking about it, if I hadn't added 2 inches to the front and the back, maybe I would have had enough to do the cut the hood on the fold, but I'd rather have the length and have the seam up here than the other way around. So I'm real happy with the length, and I didn't want it to be, that long or, long. I just wanted it to be a little bit longer than that. So I'm very, very glad that I added the 2 inches on. It's perfect now. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a little clip of me wearing this so you can see it full length, front and back and side to side and everything like that. And I'll put the hood on so you can kind of see how that looks. And we'll be right back. So here it is. And I apologize if the lighting's not real great. Sometimes it's hard to get the lighting just right, especially if I'm having to work within the confines of a small space. But you can see the length where I've added it on. And this is, to me, the perfect length for a top for myself. I like my tops, and it doesn't matter if it's something I'm lounging in the house or something to be worn outside. I really like them to come down a little bit longer. It's just personal preference. The sleeve length is just perfect. And I'll show you the back. And here in just a second, I'll take this microphone off so I can show you what the hood looks like. But while I'm still talking, it's really helpful to wear the microphone so you guys get a good quality of sound. It's really comfy. I love it. Can move in it. And it's just great. It's the perfect loungy top. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to come in a little closer so you can see what I meant about the seam. So there's that center front seam right there, which does show, but I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world. And if I made this again and lined it with the face fabric, you wouldn't see a seam there at all. At least maybe you would if it was a solid fabric rather than a print. So with the hood, and I'm thinking there may not be a whole lot of times when I'm in the house wearing a hood, but if I'm wearing this in the springtime outside, like underneath a jacket, then if it's a windy day, I could see pulling that hood up for sure. Either way, it's kind of a cute look, and it's nice to have it there, especially, and it can be drafty in the house too during the winter. And there might be times where I wear the hood even in the house. But yeah, that's it. And these are the Parker Pontes. So the flowers on the top, the print of the jersey, go really well. They're almost the exact same color as this French terry. So I don't know if that's showing up on the camera, but in person, it looks really cute together. So what did you think? I'm really happy with it. It is so cozy. I love it. And for reference, I'm 5'6" with just kind of average length arms. The sleeves hit perfect. They're not too short, but they're not coming down like onto my hands. I really love that. One thing I did for the seam for the hem, both on the sleeves and the bottom hem of the garment itself, was just to fold it over about a ½ inch and then just do a small zigzag and kind of, attach it down right there. So that way I would lose as little of the length as possible. When I had test fitted it and tried it on, I knew that I loved the length and I didn't want to lose any. So I just did that, and I can't remember now what the pattern called for. It might have just been like 5/8 inch narrow hem. I like doing this better just because I don't like the stitch line to be so close to the bottom. I want it to sit up a little further, not too much. But anyway, I'm really happy that I did it that way. Uh, yeah, so the 3 questions that I always ask myself after every finished make are: one, do I like it? This is wholeheartedly yes. I'm going to wear this all the time. I'm pretty sure. It's just really comfy. This fabric is really nice too. I would try to find a link to this fabric, but since I got it like 3 years ago or more than, I doubt if they still have it. I'll see if I can find it on Joann's website, but otherwise, might be out of luck there. But it's just a rayon spandex jersey. It's really soft and cozy. And second question is, would I make it again? And that is wholeheartedly yes as well. I'm already kind of mentally going through my fabric stash, and I might have to go take a look, like a physical look through my stash, just to see what else I could make this out of that I already have on hand. And the third question is, would I change anything? And other than, like I mentioned, adding like a face, like a self fabric lining to the hood, I think the only other thing that I would change is to maybe put like one of those, I guess, a kangaroo style pouch or pocket onto the front. Just something to put my hands in, or my phone or something like that. And I'm trying to think, now I'm going to pull out my remnant leftovers of this fabric. I might have a piece big enough to make like a little kangaroo pocket for the front. I might do that. So we'll see. If I do that, I'll let you guys know. And I think that shouldn't be too difficult. What I think I would do is to go grab like a hoodie that I already have that has that pocket there, and just trace it. Lay the hoodie out flat on my table, trace the pocket, and then just cut it out of this fabric, adding on enough to turn it under for the hem. So I think that could be a really nice addition to this. I love wearing it with these Parker Pontes. Have you guys made this before? Or are you thinking about it? I would definitely recommend it if you're thinking about it, or if you have the pattern in your stash already and you're kind of putting it off. If you are in the market, as it were, for something like this kind of a top, I would say definitely do it. It was an easy make, quick, and it's so comfy and loungy, perfect for these winter days. And if you make it out of a light enough fabric, you could wear it in the spring and fall, and anything but the very hottest days of summer too. I'm pretty sure that could work. Let me know what you're working on. I love chatting with you guys in the comments, and I'm trying to get back to regular 2 videos a week, but it's been a little difficult. So my next one should be out midweek of the coming week, and it is going to maybe be my next project, which is the second pair of pants for Pantsuary. This wasn't the intended project for the second pair of pants, but I changed, and I'll go into that more when I show you guys how this turns out. Or I do owe you guys an update on the cargo pants project. I kind of tucked that away, and I haven't looked at it in at least a month. So I might pull that out and work on that. Either way, I'll be back next week with something to share with you. And I hope that you have a good coming week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.